Practice Podcast, where we cover the only sport in the world where there is no practice. With your mini rod driving host, Adam Kester, Tyler Slaw, and Chase Richardson. Strap in for some debates on the world of pulling, exclusive special guests, and a whole lot of nonsense BS. The No Practice Podcast starts now.
Welcome back, everybody. February 28th, 2024, the No Practice Podcast is back. I am your host, Adam Kester, and with me, as always, Tyler Slaw, and his name is still spelled wrong in the intro, and Chase Richardson. How's it going, guys?
Chase is sounding a little under the weather.
Yeah.
It's going great, man. Still recovering from the farm show flu. For all those you out there that have been struggling with me, excuse my voice crackles tonight, but you know, sickness can't keep the No Practice Podcast down. So I'm here, and it may actually be better because I won't be drinking tonight.
Perhaps no drinking means no interrupting as well. We've got a clean slate on our Chase Interrupts board, and maybe we can keep some tallies off of it if your fine, cool, sultry voice is escaping you this evening.
Yeah, the ratings could be all-time high tonight.
Yep. So we're back. Number one pulling podcast in the world. Are we still in that top 10% of all podcasts? I do believe so.
That's what
That's
they
a big
tell us.
number. Yes, sir.
Yep. Fresh off of the first ever No Practice Podcast live in person. That was a complete failure, but we winged it, and actually, I think it's our most viewed or most watched show on a couple platforms. So we'll get into that here shortly. But the No Practice Podcast live, would you guys call that a failure or a success?
It was a successful failure, I would say. It was mostly a success for me because I managed to defeat 3 challengers in a beer chugging contest at the end there. It was a bit of a failure because they, as I believe you guys said, they had the handcuffs on us. They wouldn't let us do our typical rigmarole. Unfortunately, we shot some cool video, which now got posted to the Full Pull Facebook page there. But they wouldn't let us show that on the screen. But I can't be all complaints. I was grateful for the opportunity that they, let us use the stage and threw us on the screen and, forced people there in the food court to witness what we do.
Yeah,
for sure. The fans in person, they were great. All the koozies were dished out. But the one thing I can take away from that, go back to episode 9 to probably follow up when I said what we were talking about. If they put as much energy into building their purse money for the competitors there as they did worry about what we're doing with this podcast, I mean, that pool would be, you win millions of dollars that pool. No, I mean, seriously, like, up until literally minutes before it started, it was like the damn. It was like we were terrorists in there, a terrorist group, like the way some of these things were being worried about. But I don't know. I guess we'll. And it was also brought to our attention they were not happy with your chugging escapades either, Tyler.
Oh, really?
We totally blame that on you.
I don't think Tyler was happy with that. Because he was shaking like a dog shitting peach seeds when he picked that class up.
Well, in all fairness, I was unbelievably hungover. I think that beer that I chugged was maybe the 3rd one that I had that day. And that gentleman right next to me that was chugging with me, he came up to me earlier in the day, and he's like, "Hey, we're still doing this chug-off thing, right, on the podcast?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure we are. Why?" And he's like, "You're going down. You're getting your ass kicked." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So like clearly that guy meant business. And then like 2 hours later, a lady comes up to me and she's like, "Hey, did my husband find you?" I'm like, I don't know. That's pretty vague. She's like, "He's going to chug a beer against you and you're getting your ass kicked. You're going down." And I'm like, "Oh man, I've got husband and wife approaching me, just calling me out." And so, I mean, I was intimidated. I was not on my A game. That wasn't my best work, but yeah. You still managed to take care of business, though, right? Somehow, yes. In the heat of the moment, We got it done. So that's why it was a success for me. But it was a good time. I was glad to be there.
And despite the headaches that we were dealt with, and we did persevere and made it through it, and got our first ever No Practice Podcast live done. But I think I told you guys, the fans and the people who love this podcast and love what we're doing week to week. Again, we're just here to grow the sport we love and let the rest of the world know how awesome and badass this sport is. But the effect is real. Like, people are out there, and Tyler and I, you see right here, we walked the halls of the show earlier in the day. Adam was unfortunately wasn't able to be there, but this podcast has a following and it's fans, and it's exciting, and can't wait to do another one of these in person down the road somewhere.
Yeah, the interaction there was, it was awesome for sure.
For sure. Yep.
Absolutely.
Adam, what'd you have to say? I'm low under the weather. I'm being nice.
I was just saying,
interrupting, I'm bringing back your point. Sorry.
Another, we were supposed to have a guest, and we did have a guest, but we were supposed to have another guest. And apparently this guy is very famous, Mr. Tony Reed, which is what, Growing Corn, whatever. The guy that we're probably happy that we didn't have him up there in one sense, because he cusses like a sailor from what I hear. But you know what? I've heard somewhere, I don't know if this is truth or not, I've heard that people that cuss more are more honest people. So maybe he's a great guy. But yeah, it was kind of funny.
He's our rival now.
He no-showed on us, right?
Rival.
Yeah, we've got beef with him for sure. Yeah. Because if you say people that cuss more are honest people, he said he was going to show up and he didn't. So
yeah, that's pretty bad. I will say this. More. So I guess earlier in the week he'd put out a video of what vehicle he was going to take to the farm show, right? And apparently this dude's got like 30 vehicles around his farm or whatever, but he was talking about, I don't want to take this one or this one, blah, blah. He picks this old Buick, maroon Buick. It's got Salt Life on the windshield. Well, it's funny. Saturday afternoon, my buddy Rodney and Casey, they didn't stay for the pool Saturday night. As soon as the farm show ended, they got in the truck and they left and came home. And they actually came over to my place. We watched it on TV, but they're on their way home and they're going down I-64, cruising along, and they see this maroon Buick. And they said they go by him and they're looking at him, and he just plops the bird right up in the window as they pass by. They stopped and they did a TikTok and stuff. It was pretty funny, but yeah, it would probably been great to get him on there. But you know what?
No,
we weathered the storm without him. We're fine. We're fine.
Yeah,
they shut us down on
many. Screw that dude. We don't need him.
Yeah, many fronts we were shut down, but we were fine.
Yeah, of course, Tyler. So, shifting gears to the farm show, I heard you've been getting some emails. You mind to enlighten us on that?
Shifting gears to the truck show.
Yeah, the actual the show that we would highly recommend attending. We would recommend the farm show, but the Mid-America MAC Winter Nationals Truck and Tractor Pull. By the way, we'll be revealing the lineups here shortly on this show for those of you tuning in for that. We'll go through all four classes, but in terms of competitor announcements, didn't you receive some emails from your friends? We love talking about emails on these shows that we get. So
yes.
Or was that fake news?
No, I did receive an email. Was it Monday? Perhaps
walk us through the scenario here so we understand.
Well,
this is good. Hey, get your popcorn out, pulling fans. Popcorn out right now. This is what makes the No Practice Podcast high quality. Go ahead.
So the original invite to the truck show stated that it was going to be 2023 NTPA rules, and I think it was, I want to say Monday, but maybe it was like Thursday or Friday. Maybe you guys could help me out with that. But the email that we recently got after the invite now said that we have to follow the 2024 rules. So here we have the Mid-America Truck Show email rule change challenge that we are facing here.
So this is 30 days from the event.
Yeah, that's right. And so what that means is, enable for us to compete there, we have to follow the NTPA 2024 rules, meaning our feet cannot be outside the frame rails. So we're looking forward to the email challenge there of completely altering our chassis possibly in 30 days and kudos to the powers that be for making sure we're safe while competing there. And we're looking forward to that. I can't honestly say we've done anything yet, but I mean, we've got time yet, right?
Yeah, I mean, safety is one of the one of the most, what's the word I'm looking for? Important things in this sport. So whatever we got to do to keep the floor safe, Tyler, as you know.
Yeah.
But for those of you who don't, if we're trying to give some context, the MAC Winter Nationals, an invitation-only event put on by Mr. Mike Conny, who's also going to be in the show here later.
He did not make the rule. He did not make the rule.
It's not his rules. It's not his rules. He chooses to sanction his event with NTPA, which when you sanction an event, you bring that organization's rules in. But Mike Conny brings a blend of all vehicles and from all organizations. When I say all PPL and NTPA, but for those of you that don't know, go back to episode 1 of the No Practice podcast. And a hot topic has been this offseason, the particular tractor that Tyler and his dad runs, where the driver's compartment portion of it is no longer.
There was a handful of them. There's a handful of them.
Yeah. I'm just using that as an example.
It was the Slaw brand.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
fair.
So
So back to where Tyler said it was initially
exactly. Look at this comment. This is perfect.
It was going to be 2023 rules. I guess the news was passed here a couple of days ago that they have to be 2024 rules.
The bummer is, Chase, if you were going to make that rule, I wish you would have given us more heads up.
Oh, if I made the rule, if I made the rule, you would never been in there.
Yeah, I know. That's what you're trying to do.
Yeah, no. So needless to say, are you going to get it done or what's the deal?
Well, like I said, we've got plenty of time, and I mean, we own a welder, so we can probably change some things. I'm the guy who threw you out.
Hate to say it in such a negative fashion, but if you really wanted to do the job right, my dad never had his feet and ankles inside the frame rails. Maybe just cut your damn legs off.
I know. I was in honor of your father, Adam. I was thinking about taking a sawzall to my thighs and just being like, "What are you gonna do? Disqualify me now because my feet aren't inside the frame?" Huh?
Yeah, just tape it in. Take your mangled leg and tape it on the inside of the frame rail.
If it's any alternative, because I don't want you to lose your legs, we have an extra mini rod that didn't qualify for that event, and you are more than welcome to bring your engine and your package down here and put it in the tractor and run it for that one event, but no other time.
I do appreciate your offer for letting us stick my package.
Chase wants to accept your package.
No, that is very nice. And shout out to you, Chase, for that offer. And also to Kevin and Lindsay Campbell. They actually reached out as well when they saw that email. And they said, come down here, pick up our chassis, put your motors in them, go down there, kick ass. They're like, you guys shouldn't have to go through that in 30 days. And I'm like, and
then you can buy them from us.
Yeah, right. But we have wrecked tractors at events pretty bad, as everybody knows. And I mean, the next weekend we're out with them. So, I mean, we'll figure something out.
No hill for
it's the last time I'm ever doing anything. It's the last time I'm ever doing anything nice for you again is offering that. So you have until I'd say as long as you're there by Wednesday before the pool starting on Saturday, we could probably get her done.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And maybe we'll take you up on that. Who knows? We'll see. So that's the
I
recent,
got the Sawzall.
Yeah. Oh, well, you want to do the honors?
That's about time for our next episode,
we'll get right in there, buddy.
I mean, yeah. Next episode, we're gonna cut my legs off live on the air.
we're trying to go.
How much do you think those babies weigh? If you're really, really dedicated, Tyler, your legs got to be 20 pounds apiece. I mean,
I would say so. I mean, I'm a pretty 20 fat more pounds guy, and I'm a pretty fat guy, and I got some chicken legs, but I'd say these sticks are easily worth 20 apiece. Like 40 pounds down, man, I could move my seat even further forward at that point.
Think about the amount of liquid they fill with on a weekend with all that alcohol consumption too. I mean, you're probably another 10 pounds a leg there.
Yeah, so that's 30 pounds a leg. I mean, I'd be 60 pounds down. You guys would be toast.
Yeah.
Well, so enough with the fact of the matter is like Hey, you know what? I hear no complaining out of him. I'm going to make do with the rules as they claim. So kudos to you. I mean, it sounds like a challenge for you, and you guys will meet the challenge like you always do. Fact of the matter is, I wish they'd quit flip flopping with their damn rules. I mean, make it evident early. Give people time. Not even just you guys. Just when we settle on rules at the end of the year, you got a certain amount of time that they need to be done. And that doesn't matter with our class, any class. Just get the rules, enforce them. Hey, your shit's got to be done. And then we go from there. We don't say, "Oh, what time you're going to be able to run it," and then, "Oh, no, you can't." Just quit flip flopping.
I think 30 days is plenty of enough time to give a competitor time to do alterations to their chassis to make it there. Like I'm just happy they didn't give us like 7.
All about safety.
I'm grateful for this.
We'll see what we can get changed before then. There's more to come, I'm sure, probably.
Yeah. Chase, if you could give me a heads up on the next rule change, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, we're not here to discourage the pullers. We're here to promote the sport.
That's right.
I think that's a good lead to our next segment. Those of you tuning in, No Practice Podcast fans, thank you again. Our show continues to snowball each week. This week, a new little twist to it, because people in the sport recognize that we do have a following, despite being pretty new, and we were invited to reveal the competitor lineups for the MAC Winter Nationals, which is I would say this is a pretty good notch in our belt, guys. Congratulations on being the official hub for a invitation only event and announcing the competitors. So rather than make you all wait through the show, we want to get you in here, see these competitors early on, then everyone wants to tune in to hear from our guest Mike Conny and the Mac Daddy team. But we're going to go through class by class, who's in. Again, this event's March 23rd. We'll talk about how you get tickets after we reveal the classes, but tickets are on sale. It is in Freedom Hall, same location as the National Farm Machinery Show, and I think it is a badass pull. Probably better than any session at the Farm Machinery Show, just because the mini rods are there, right?
That's right.
Here we go with the MAC Winter Nationals official
stacked list.
Stacked list. We're going to lead off with the Super Semi class. Mr. Backstage guy, if you wouldn't mind pulling it up, we'll go through them. This class, obviously, it's in conjunction. This event's in conjunction with the Mid America Truck Show, one of the largest truck trade shows in the United States, taking place right there in Louisville, Kentucky, the Fair and Expo Center. So semis are a headline class. You got 5 competitors this year in the semi class. The Class Act tractor, Chris Wood, Playing with Fire, Mr. Ryan DeBro. I believe he is the NTPA and PPL champion both. First time ever someone has won with both of those. Look forward to seeing him. You have the Eileen team, Pat and Tom Eileen with their Just Passing Through and the Keep On Trucking truck. And then last but not least, Mark or Spencer Rook, with the Hillbilly Deluxe. These aren't official lineups in terms of who is going in what order, but this is who's in there. Again, Class Act, Playing with Fire, Just Passing Through, Keep On Trucking, Hillbilly Deluxe. And these lists came directly from the committee at the MAC Winter Nationals. So if there are any typos, we'll take the blame for them.
Guys pulling inside.
Oh, you guys, major announcement.
It's pretty neat, man.
You guys, major announcement. RJ Simon in the comments of this video just said that Keep On Trucking has a typo. The Simon team will be piloting the Keep On Trucking semi at the Mid-America Truck Show.
Keep on Trucking.
So multiple reasons why we do this on here, because we get corrected when something's wrong.
Look at that. Wow.
Yes. So
we're going to need RJ.
Newsflash.
RJ, will it be Brandon or RJ?
Simons are almost pulling in every class.
That's right. Yeah, they've got the mod.
They had a mini rod a couple years ago. I mean,
yet.
Who knows? They might sneak in.
Impressive.
So go back to that list. The Simon team will have the Keep On Trucking in the field. Again, we got these directly from the committee. So, but we'll fall on the sword and say that we left that detail out because who are the Simons? I never heard of those guys, right? Is this Fox News, as one of them says? True apologies.
Yeah, I think
we will be sure that is corrected.
No, You know what? No apology needed. It's not on the committee to announce who owns that truck now and the name change. They want to leave that to the Simon boys, and God bless them. They have chosen this platform to announce that. So look at that.
Legitimacy at its best. So breaking news with the first lineup. I can't wait till we get to the second one. I think the next class we got on the docket is the modified class. Why don't you take that and run with it, Adam?
All right. Moving over to the modifieds, we have Steve Bollinger piloting the pit. Bill Leishner with the dirt slinger. Cameron Neves, Dylan Owens with Thorn. Tommy Owens with Ramblin' Rose. Ricky Rose with Giddy Up. Brandon Simon with the Simon Says, the winner of both sessions of the mods at the farm show. Wayne Sullivan with the Kentuckian. Doug Theobald in the Full Blown Wicked. And Bill Voorhees with the American Thunder. It's a pretty good list of modifieds for the first time at the MAC Winter Nationals. I think everybody, this should be interesting because they just pulled there and see what changes they get to make. There was Cameron Neves made a really good run there in the finals.
Yes,
Leishner's, they had some struggles. They had the first hook, they kind of turned it down, and then it didn't go their way the second go round. I mean, I think Bollinger, he kind of had an up and down run. I think he would have changed. It's good to see all these guys another shot at it. It's a really cool class to see in Freedom Hall.
Absolutely.
So,
and not to mention Mr. Bill Voorhees. He had one lick on it the Wednesday night session, but I'm sure the old seasoned vet himself.
It'll be tuned up for the second one.
Yeah, for sure. So, and I believe
he'll
if
have
I'm
her
not
tuned
mistaken,
up a little bit more.
They took basically the top 10 runners from the Farm Machinery Show and just kind of plugged them in there. I don't know the exact criteria, but that's what I overheard. So, yeah, that's the 10 that's in.
Right.
We have a question. No corporal
Obviously,
punishment.
breaking news. My brother-in-law, if you haven't been paying attention to Facebook, my brother-in-law is selling his tractor. They kind of got some things, nothing alarming. I think they've kind of made the decision. There's a lot of stuff going on with their kids, and he just bought all brand new engines and everything for that thing. So it was the last thing in the world that he wanted to do, get rid of it. But sometimes family matters more. So best wishes to them with there. I think he was really liking to pull at the MAC Nationals. I think he's gonna thought it was easier just to let's go ahead and get this thing rolling. And sad to see, but I'm sure somebody out there will. I think we've already sold a couple of the engines, so pretty easy to get rid of there. The chassis might be a little bit more. It is a very good piece, so should be a great class to watch. Mr. Producer, what's our next class that we have on the docket?
The Pro Stocks, I believe, because we got the best class in Poland's got to be saved for last. So I guess Pro Stocks naturally. Tyler, you got it.
Yeah, that's right. The Pro Stocks, we're gonna have Mr. Brent Meyer on ejected funds, Brandon Simon making another appearance in the Loud and Heavy, Mr. Mike Conny himself in the Mac Nasty, and his daughter Julia Ray in the Mac Daddy, Jack Mays in the Billet Binder, Kevin Masterson in the River Rat, Kevin Masterson potentially again in the Tinker Toy, Philip Parrish and El Nino, to be determined if that's supposed to be red or not, Denny Brown in Green with Envy, Justin Wagler in the Real Deer Pro, Carlton Cope in Warpath, and none other than the brand new bootlegger driven by Jason Svenovich. That is a tough, stacked class of Pro Stocks right there. And
yes.
I'm excited to watch that one, specifically the bootlegger,
to
see if they've got that thing dialed in with a little bit more time, and to see what that huge billet aluminum barrel on the front of that thing can do.
Other takeaway from that, and I'm a Massey Ferguson guy. I love Carlton Cope's tractor, and he was not at the farm show, and having him there for this will be a lot of fun. He's always a tough runner with a good track record in Freedom Hall.
Yes, diversity is always good, for sure.
Cool.
For,
And then
Kevin Campbell.
And for anybody who doesn't know, Carlton.
What's that? Yeah.
Adam.
Kevin Campbell checking in saying
I just said
I would assume the bootlegger. Oh, guys. He's saying that the bootlegger is on the dyno today and all is good. So they've got that baby dialed in, and we're going to be looking for that thing to move some real estate and perhaps take a trip to the beach there in Freedom Hall on its second opportunity.
Go back to that pro stock list. I'm just curious how many were finalists. If I can recall correctly, I know Julia Ray, Billet Bonder was, I'm pretty sure, Tinker Toy, El Nino. I guess just 4, but that class is so competitive. I mean, you could probably have 30 different tractors up there that could call themselves finals worthy, if not more. So, and a good mix of red and green in that field as well. So that'll be a ton of fun to watch, as it always is. And we'll talk with Mr. Mike Conny here a little later about their team and so forth. Julia Ray was literally, a foot or so from sweeping her. Or I don't know if she won the preliminaries on Thursday, but they finished second. Obviously, had a very impressive showing there. So stout list as always. But no offense to pro stocks, the Mac Winter Nationals is the Mac Winter Nationals because of the mini rod class, because it's in Freedom Hall.
That's what we
let's
like
go
to
through
tell
this
ourselves.
one. Some familiar names that you may or may not know. Mr. Adam Kester walked the line. We'll get to which tractor that actually is here shortly. Renee Theobald, Pretty Wicked. Mr. Brian Guza, Grandpa's Disaster. First time attendees. I guess Renee technically is too, because last year they were there at Grant's tractor. But Grandpa's Disaster, Brian Guza from Wisconsin. Myself and the Vibrator representing the NTPA this past season. Jeff Hurt, Little Bear, the defending champion from 2023. A couple guys with illegal tractors. Tyler and Bruce Slaw, Have No Mercy, Show No Mercy. I know you guys will be there one way or another.
Yeah, of course.
I was kind of nervous that when we first got that news that you guys may be wavering going, but I know what's in your all's DNA. You'll be there. Mr. Jeff Hurt again, the B-Bear. Wayne Bunnage. I don't know if that's Dylan or Wayne going to drive specifically. Again, we just got these lists directly from the promoters themselves. So I would say either Dylan or Wayne Bunnage with the Phoenix. If not, last time they were there, they finished second in a pull-off with your dad, if I'm not mistaken,
That's
the
right.
first year of this event. Mr. Ken Vinny, Funny Little Farmall.
Ooh, the man, the myth, the legend.
He will be there. He will be, I would say, a heavy favorite to probably win this thing if you had to ask me who to bet on. And then the Bobcat Jr., what we were told Bill Lasher will be piloting that tractor for the team from out of Europe. So, looks like a piece of cake to win, guys. No problem.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be cool to have Bill Leichner in the Mini again, too. I hope that's the case. I feel like it's been a little while since he's driven that thing. So that's a stacked field.
Adam, walk the line. Is that the new tractor, or which tractor is that going to be? I think Adam has some connection problems.
All right. Well, that's a shame. The show must go on.
Yeah, the show must go on. Tyler, do you change your combinations for the truck show with your mini rods, or you run them just like you do outdoors?
Yeah, no, we run them a little bit harder because it's you've got more time to fix them. It's not like we've got to pull next weekend. So
you run the same gear selections and everything, or you change that too?
We run the same gear.
Everything, just roll it inside, just turn it up a little more.
Yeah, pretty much. It's really hard to read the air in there anyway. For people that are taking air readings, for density and grains of water and everything. It's almost like once you get in there and a couple of vehicles have made passes, it's almost like unburnt fuel in the air, and they're using up the oxygen in the air. So when you go indoor pulling, in my opinion, you almost have to take your previous notes from years past and look at just the indoor event notes, not hardly the outdoor ones. So that always makes it fun. And I feel like everybody's on an even playing field there because not very often do we pull indoors. So,
and 2 years ago, the first year of that event, there was a pull off. It was your father and Wayne Bunnage, which I think was your dad may have been first took, and Wayne Bunnage was last hook, or was that correct? Or
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty. Everyone was pretty tight, but it was the pull off dynamic. Of course, we've talked about this a number of times this podcast, but I think a pull off, especially in an event like that, if you can keep it narrowed down to 2 or 3 guys, I think it's pretty badass.
Oh yeah, I would love to see them take the top 3 in each class back for a pull off, and I feel like the fans would agree with that. And especially in a setting like that where you don't have to be to an event or anything like that,
Yeah, absolutely,
it's the way to do it.
Absolutely. So, as we mentioned, those are the lineups. Tickets are on sale now. This event particularly can't do a lot of advertising in advance because for whatever rules that they have at the farm show, you can't advertise until the farm show is over. But we're happy and proud and blessed to announce it on this podcast and make the announcement that all of these proceeds that are made from this event are go to a nonprofit group. It's a very unique pull. We'll talk to Mike Conny, who again is the promoter of this event, later in the show. But every penny that's made that's brought in for this event does not go in anyone's pocket other than to a nonprofit group. And then on top of that, it's also the richest purse in pulling by a long ways in terms of what pullers get for their winnings. And we'll also talk to Mike about that and how he makes that happen. So needless to say, from a pulling standpoint, it's probably one of our favorite pulls to get behind and help promote. So
absolutely,
you can go to Ticketmaster. Tickets are available right now for a fair price. I think most of the lowers are going pretty quickly from what I've gathered, but plenty of upper level seats still available, and a lot of cool stuff coming with that event.
Chase, I've got to give Mr. Hank Jackson a voice here from the Shelton team. He comments and says, "So how can you call it the No Practice Podcast when I see some tractors making test pulls in Louisville?"
Well, these are the guys that drag race that help Shelton's, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
The guys who practice all the time. So we like to let it be known to them that we're the only sport in the world where there is no practice. So I guess when he can figure out for himself that there is no practice and you can just call the farm show maybe a practice, maybe that's an argument he has. But
okay, Hank, the farm show is a non-sanctioned event. And so those guys get a little wild with the details, and they do allow a tractor or two to get 1 round of qualifying before they actually compete. But it's not 4 rounds of qualifying, is it, Chase?
It is not, and we can't go through the week in practice all week either at the farm show. But that's exciting, Hank. You're actually teasing. We have a couple of big-name drag racing guys lined up for a future podcast you'll be hearing about. We're going to love to go into those conversations with them. They're all about no prep and all this other stuff, but there's no practice in our sport. So I think it'll be quite the colorful guest here in a few weeks whenever we bring them on. More to come on that on a later date, but all you drag race boys can get on there and fight for your guys on how much practice helps make a good drag racer. So I think it's on to our next segment. Since we've gone through the MAC Winter Nationals, a fan favorite segment that, man, I wish there was practice segment that is becoming a mainstay of this show. So I believe we have a little intro or a little segue to go to that. Drum roll, please. Okay,
all right.
Maybe not. So how we doing?
What's up, fellas?
Hey, guys.
I guess you guys have already started with your drinks this evening.
Well, we were kind of bored here from we got off work till now. So
Tate and I figured out we'd just have a little beer and a little Belvini and watch the show. You're doing a good job, guys.
Well,
very nice.
We appreciate the courtesy. The show's going much better because our other co-host, Adam Kester, is having some technical difficulties. So anytime we get him to shut up, the show flows a lot better. So needless to say, it's going pretty well right now. But we just got done talking about the MAC Winter Nationals. We really appreciate you letting us reveal the competitors of who's in this year. We're talking a little bit about that, but obviously wanted to bring you guys on as the competitors of the MAC Daddy team. We'll get into all that. but also talk about the event. And, tickets are available on sale currently. But needless to say, we have Mr. Mike Conny here, as you can see there, to our right, the owner of the Mac Daddy pulling team and one of the drivers of you're Mac Daddy, right?
No, he's Mac Nasty, Chase. Get it right.
He's Mac Nasty. I'm sorry.
Come on.
A lot of prep.
I don't know how that happened, Chase. My daughter just outvoted me and jumped on one day. She took Daddy.
Okay. All right. Well, as you can tell, we do a lot of prep work on this show, so I apologize.
Yeah, I might have wished I was on Daddy at the farm show. She did a little better than her dad.
Yeah, she did.
Probably driving.
Yeah, well, I don't know about all that. And then we have his son-in-law, Julia's husband, Tate, there. Tate, what's your official title for the pulling team? I don't really, other than the guy that makes them go, as Mike would say.
Well, I don't know. I guess they call me the crew chief, but I don't know, a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff and orchestrating things. And then we got Carl Cope and James Ray, the other guy that's always with us. They kind of keep these things going while we're running the business. So
100%.
We wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah. So Mike, real quick on the Mac Winter Nationals, tickets are on sale right now. You mind just taking us through a little bit? Obviously, your love for pulling is evident by the way you guys compete and travel around and support it, but kind of where this came about to have this pull. Obviously, the Mid-America Truck Show is a big show, but kind of just tell the viewers and so forth, we're on year 3 now, how this all started.
Well, it started about 4 years ago. Obviously, we've been going to the farm show year after year, and I saw the polls going on down there, and the crowds were, it was a full crowd every time, almost 10,000 people, and I thought, if there was anything that I guess I'd want to put a show on, it would be in Broadband down there in Kentucky. But those guys do a great job down there, and I got with Mike Witt, and I said, Mike, if I put a tractor pull on, would you support us down here for a Saturday night or a Friday night? And he thought that would be great. And trucking crowd, it's not the farm crowd, it's a different crowd, and it's really bringing pulling to a different crowd. And we thought, well, we love pulling, and maybe we'll try this thing 3 years ago. And I got with Mike Ott, and Mike kind of handles things for me as I'm running the business every day. So between Mike Witt and Mike Ott, they really, really helped me put all this together. And then I thought that, we don't really want to do it for any money. We want to do it for a charity. And we just decided to, so every year we pick a charity, and we minimum, we give $50,000 away. And hopefully this year we can get more, and we can do more for a charity. And our charity is for the veterans that have lost their legs and lost their arms. And we have a special guest this year that I'm really excited about, Craig Morgan. He's going to come in, and he's going to sing the national anthem, and he's going to probably open up maybe with one new song. He's not going to sing all day at all. He's going to maybe show us a new song. And it's Craig is big into the Veterans Association and helping veterans, and we kind of got with him through a local fella here that we knew and knew him, and told him we wanted to raise money for the veterans, and Craig is all in, and so we're pretty excited about that. And so really that's really how it started. I just wanted to have a nice event and raise some money for charity, and because we've been blessed here. We've all been blessed. You guys have been blessed, and you got to do what you can do to help people, as we've all been blessed and get older. So that's really what it all started out at. And then obviously all the pullers have supported it. They've all come, and we had to figure out who we're going to invite, because I sell a lot of trailers to a lot of pullers. So I didn't want to be the judge and jury here. So we got sitting around, with a beer, and decided, Tate and James and Mike Ott and all of us and Carlton, we decided, well, how are we going to do this? So that's what got us to taking the top 5 from both classes, and you have to be there to get invited. And
Sure.
This year on the mods, we decided to take the top 10 at Louisville. So it really wanted to invite us. We obviously have a $10,000 purse, winner take all.
Yep.
We just decided, you know what? we're just going to go for winner take all. And so it's really turned out nice. But I can tell you, we have had a lot of help from a lot of people, and we just hope it's successful this year and for a good cause.
It will be. It will be. That was a very, very strong intro on why you got into it and the purpose of how you view the event in terms of giving back and being blessed. And for those of you that we say this all the time, because Mike, we do have a pretty good audience of people just watching and love the sport. Like if you've not been to this event, and if nothing else, don't know much about it, it's worth coming to see. Nothing, just for the lone fact of this is the only event that you'll go to that gives back to people that's given to our country. And you mentioned about us all being blessed, Mike. We all are absolutely blessed. I'm glad you pointed that out. But we're even more blessed at your event because you have the biggest purse in all pulling. And so maybe one of us could be lucky enough to win that prize. I would love to give your thoughts on why, and we're going right into this, but how come there's not more events that have a purse like the MAC Winter Nationals? I mean, it can't be that hard to do, right?
Yeah. How do you do it?
Well, I have a lot of good vendors. We spend about $400 million with people every year to build trailers.
That helps.
Wow.
And I put a little pressure on the vendors, and these guys, a lot of these guys that have sponsored us, I think we've got 4 or 5 gold sponsors, 4 or 5 silver sponsors, and those are companies that are local. Their own private individuals own most of those companies, and they, when they find out it's for charity, they've given us I think $100,000 in the pot to begin with from the sponsorships. So that really, without our good sponsors,
Awesome.
our partners, they're our partners, and they believe in what we're doing. So really, that's a big part of it. It would be so difficult to do this without them.
Awesome stuff, Mike. Awesome stuff. And by the way, Mike, I don't know how much No Practice podcast you've watched. I know you're a busy guy and stay on the road a lot, but I know Tate and James, your crewmen, are No Practice podcast participants and watchers each week, just like a lot of thousands of other people are. Yep. At any time we ask a question that you are not comfortable answering, you can either say Tate answer it, or just say, we like to do something called the Adam button. Just hit the Adam button, because Adam doesn't like to answer all questions either. So feel free to pass, but we are going to have some fun.
Well, it's pretty hard to answer when
he's back. He's back now.
Crashes.
I'm sorry, man. He's back.
My computer completely crashed. So I'm sorry. This is, you know what? I thought it was going to be cool. I'm going to move my podcast setup up here to the shop so you guys can see the tractors and whatever I'm doing. This is the worst damn place in the world because I don't get any service in here whatsoever. But now that I am back, I got a pretty neat little story. That's kind of cool. I did not know that Craig Morgan was going to be coming to the MAC Winter Nationals. Fun little fact here. Years ago, Shell was putting on like they did it at Bowling Green one year where Wrangler and Shell kind of partnered up and they did a concert at Bowling Green. And Craig Morgan was the artist. So he shows up and we thought, yeah, it'd be really cool if you could drive the tractor to the track. So Craig gets there early. He's a retired Army Ranger, or you think he jumped out of the planes and stuff, but avid motocross rider and all this stuff. So he kind of had an idea what horsepower is all about. So he shows up and we meet him. Really nice guy. And we got to talking about how neat it would be if he got to drive the tractor up to the stage. He jumps out of the tractor and then he starts singing. So he comes to the trailer and we're talking and he goes, well, let's see what it's all about. So we get him in there and he starts it up and he takes off in this thing down the road, down by like where the milkshakes are sold and everything. I'm like, hey, dude, I don't know if he knows this, but that shit can't run that long. He was gone for like a pretty decent amount of time. And we're like, freaking out because he comes around the corner and he comes back and he pulls up and we show him where the fuel shutoff was. He drove that thing like he had been driving it for 25 years. I mean, it was absolutely amazing. But to meet him and his family at it was a long time ago. But that was one of the best things that ever happened at Bowling Green was there was a good concert the day before with a well-known artist. I mean, we know this stuff doesn't come together easily, but that is very awesome that he's coming back. I hope I get to meet him again, I hope he remembers that.
Well, he probably will. He'll be there a little early, and you might be able to get a chance to meet him. That'd be great.
Yeah, him and my dad kind of hit it off. My dad got to sit on stage with him and sing I Was Almost Home, because that's a really awesome song. And, it sucks my dad's not here to see that anymore, but that's awesome, Mike. That's really cool.
Well, I guarantee he liked your dad. I guarantee that.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Not many people didn't.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. Sorry about that, guys. Like I said, I apologize for
it's good stuff.
Computer problems. So really cool.
I'd like to hear about each of your first pull that you guys ever went to, and what you witnessed at that first pull that had you guys thinking, I'm going to continue to invest, so much time and resources into doing a sport like this. Like, what drew you in to just keep coming back the very first time you went?
Well, I guess my first pull, I wasn't even involved, obviously. I was just at the local county fair. Watching guys like Carl and Cope pull in his early days and people like that, which was cool. And I really didn't get involved, obviously, till I met Mike's daughter, Julia. And wasn't truly involved then. And then a couple years after that, we were freshening up the program a little bit. Mike walked in the shop here and we were drinking beer and he says, "Hey, you're in charge of these pulling tractors." And I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about?" I don't know anything about this. Yeah. But, the years go by and we build a team, and years later, Carl and Cope comes on board and James is with us. And we got a lot of other good people supporting us through the program. So that's kind of how I got involved, obviously through Mike and his daughter. But
I just threw him to the wolves, guys.
Yeah, I'd say
that's the best way to learn.
Judging by how it looked Saturday night, that was a pretty good wolf you fed him to.
Yeah, I would say so. Mike, what about you? What was your first pull that you ever went to? How old were you?
Well, I would go to Bowling Green. I probably went to Bowling Green the first time when I was 17 years old, like all the 17-year-olds. But then I obviously started Mac Treader at 25 years old, and I didn't do much pulling for 10 or 15 years. I was just working real hard. But then Julia, my daughter, real quick, she was 17 years old or 16, and she helped me on the farm here. And they had a little pool down here at Mile Branch, and I took a 7800 John Deere down there. And Julia was kind of a quiet girl, and I was thinking, what could I do to kind of get her to do things and stuff? So I took the old 7800 down there, and she got on that. She always could drive equipment. She was always a little girl, 12 years old, could drive a skid steer, plow the driveways. And so I put her on that tractor. She went down through there, and she smiled from ear to ear on that little 7800. And Carl Cope looked at me on the sidelines and said, "You got problems." And I said, "What do you mean?" He says, "Your daughter was smiling ear to ear. You're going to get in this stuff." And I said, "I guess you're right." And I next morning I got on the internet and bought the old white albino buck Super Farm. Yep. And I called that Mr. Fry was his name. And I called him. I said, "If you can have that tractor here by 3 o'clock, I'll write you a check." And he had it here by 3 o'clock, and we went to Randolph in the Super Farm. Actually, it was a Pro Stock class, and we put it in the Pro Stock class. And Joey and I, we didn't even know how to put fuel in it. So Bill Humphrey helped me. Out, and he yelled at me because I didn't buy a small block. He said, "Bill, he's opinionated, and I love him to death, but he got mad because I didn't buy it." I said, "It ain't about that." I said, "It's about getting the tractor here and getting Joey going." And there we go. Randolph, Ohio, old white Super Farm. And then I pulled Super Farm for about 5 years in the Grand National. Always got second and third in the Grand National. Could never beat Ryan Salabine with those Red Internationals. Right. And so then Tate started coming into the program, and we just decided we wanted to get a pro. And then Bill Humphrey talked me in. I was building one pro. And he said, "You might as well build two pros. You and your daughter are both going on a pole." And bam, gave him the order for two pros. And the rest is history. We met so many good people and have had such a good time. And all the grandkids go with us. So it's something that has really been good, and it's part of our lives, and we like it. So that's how
that's awesome. Well, I want to get into a little bit more of how this all happened. So I'm kind of curious, Tate, can you explain to me when you met Mike's daughter and you take her on her first date and you show up at the house to pick up Miss Julia.
Wait a minute.
You don't want to talk about this?
Yeah.
Come on, we got to talk about this.
The Adam button is being pushed for the
please,
first time.
just if you would elaborate on your first date and meeting Mr. Mike Conny on your first date, please.
Was there a shotgun involved?
I feel like you've heard this.
No, I haven't
before.
actually. I was just told to ask by somebody.
So, no, it wasn't in my house. So, me and Julie call each other, blah, blah, blah. So, a couple of weeks before, I hit a deer in my truck.
Okay.
The front end was all smashed up and beat in. And so I come pulling up to Mike's house, and I'm nervous as hell. My hands are sweating. And I get out, and I got ratchet straps holding my bumper on my truck and shit like that. And lo and behold, as soon as I pull in and get out, he comes around the corner of the barn on his lawnmower, and I'm like, oh, shit. I was hoping he wouldn't be here, but he gets off. I think he was chewing a cigar at the time back then. And we met each other, and he looks at my truck, and he says, hey, you didn't have one too many Miller Lights, did you? And screwed your truck up. And I laughed, and I said, no, sir. I'm just here to take your daughter on a date. My truck's a little beat up. And he kind of chuckled and said, my daughter's in the house. And then I think we went.
No, you forgot. I asked you if you had a job.
Yes.
Excellent qualifying question.
So, what are you saying, Mike? What are you saying, Mike? That he shows up in this beat up truck, and you're like, "Does this guy need a job or something?"
Asked me if I had a job, and then we went in, and I think I took Julia to a local dive bar down the road there with a plywood floor, and had some beers and whatever or not. But she stuck with me after that.
That's awesome.
Thank goodness you had a job. Thank goodness you had a job. You never got in there, probably.
I probably got kicked out right then if I didn't have a job.
Yes, sir. Well, kudos to you, Mike, because that takes a lot for a dad, I guess, that loves his daughter, and a guy comes rolling in the driveway with a beat up truck and gets out and
had a couple ratchet straps on there. It was all right.
Yeah.
You know what I thought? You know what I thought when I pulled away? At least he was smart enough to take a ratchet strap.
Exactly.
Bolt his truck back.
That is exactly correct. I mean, that's ingenuity at its finest.
At least he cares a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like half the guys today don't even know how to operate a ratchet strap.
No.
So you're in the top 50 percentile for sure.
Or more or less.
You have a job.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that's the top 25% right there.
Yeah, it's pretty sad these days.
Yeah.
But that's pretty funny. I'm glad I was told to ask that because I was curious how that all went down. And look at you now. How long you guys been married? A long time now.
We got married in 2015. I think we started dating like end of 2010 or 2011.
Awesome. So
sweet.
So you've been in the game for a long time. You don't pull. I mean, you've driven, right?
Yeah.
Had to have.
Yeah. Used to pull the Super Farm a lot after they got the pros. Me and James would run around.
Mm-hmm.
Funny story about that. He'd get mad because me and James would lead the Super Farm up on a gooseneck and go local pulling, and every weekend we bring home $700-800 checks, and all it costs us was some diesel fuel and a case of beer.
Right. Totally changed.
They go traveling all around the country. We were making more money than they were.
It's awesome. But that was what it's all about. I mean,
I pulled a pro a few times, but I don't know, when Julie and Mike quit, maybe I'll get back on, but there ain't nothing better than watching Julie go out there.
Yeah, but I mean, that's at its best, man. A couple guys, a gooseneck trailer, open trailer, dragging it there with your truck. You show up the day of, that's awesome. I got to experience that kind of with my dad. Like they slept in the truck, and roughed it there. And I was around, not knowing at that time, but I was there. And it's totally changed, man. Now you guys are bringing toter homes and motor homes and trailers. And
crazy.
I mean, all the stuff's blown up.
Hey, Adam, I remember when Joey and I went from a gooseneck trailer to a wore-out Frito-Lay $2,500 trailer, and I told her one day we got rained out and we're standing in the back of the Frito-Lay, and I said, things has really gotten better, Joey. At least we got a roof.
Exactly. Exactly.
I love it. How many pullers have repurposed an old Frito-Lay trailer?
Wow.
Like you always see the chips coming out of the bag getting painted over white that you can see through the paint and the sunlight. Like, I love it.
Yeah. Definitely.
No, I mean, hell, I bet if Mike really wanted to, he could have his own division for people that probably want race trailers. You know, you're doing what drives the country day in and day out. Massive operation, all kinds of areas to deal with, but you know, that's pretty funny. Frito-Lay trailer, and we got a roof over our head. That's all we need.
Yeah,
that's right.
Good to go. So we introed you, Mike, as obviously the pro stock competitor, promoter of Mac Winter Nationals. But again, we have a lot of new people that are watching and tuning into the show every episode. So Mike is also the founder and owner of Mac Trailers. Yes, the Mac Trailers that I always say when I'm describing to people, you can't go a mile down any interstate without passing by one that's branded Mac Trailers. So Mike, I know we're here to talk about pulling, but just briefly, tell us a quick background of you started, how long you've been going at it, how many employees and so forth. Just, because we like to talk about all factors of the people on our show.
Real quick, I started working for my dad on a dairy farm here that we own today. But when I went to work for TrailStar back when I was about 20 years old, worked on the floor started at $4.25 an hour. And I went to my mother at 25 years old and said, I'd like to start a little company on my own, do brake shoes and repack cylinders and fix these trailers because I can. And my mother gave me $8,000 when I was 25 years old and said, that's all we got. And I rented a one-bay garage and started by myself in a one-bay garage. And today we encompass about 2 million square feet, 12 plants around the country, 1,700 employees. It's taken 30 years to get here, but that's where it started when I was 25 years old. I didn't come off a dairy farm. All I knew how to do is work. And
the American dream.
Yeah, it's really been good, guys. But I can tell you, I've been lucky. I got a lot of good people, and you just treat people fair and give people opportunity. That's what I didn't have. Where I worked, I own TrailStar today because I worked there. And, I asked that guy if I could be promoted. And I said, give me a foreman's job or give me a sales job, something. I want to do better. And he didn't do anything but turn around and walk away. And when I quit when I was 25, went on my own. And I knew I didn't want to treat people that way. If somebody wants to grow and do something better, talk to them a little bit. Some can't grow, some can grow. But you got to give people an opportunity if they want to try. And, right. I just kind of held that principle and started Mac Trailer, and it's really worked out well. I've got a super crew. I got to tell you a story though. I got a little chewing today.
Oh boy.
I got a guy named Simon that sent a new trailer up to him and it wasn't right. He sent me pictures. I about crawled down in my floorboard.
Oh no!
Wow.
They are kind of picky.
Well, he wasn't picky. This was the worst product I've ever turned out in 10 years, and I happened to send it to R.J. Simon.
Wow.
Well, what better person could it go to though if he had to pick one to go to? Somebody,
right?
Some guy, and you're going to compete with in the pro stock class, and going to let you hear about it every time you see it from now on. So I guess there's benefit in it too.
Well, we have a lot of people doing things. RJ was a gentleman. He just pointed out to me some things we did wrong, and he knows we're going to take care of it. And but we're tight, and he'd want to know if he was doing something wrong if he delivered freight to me. But he called me, and I just got those pictures. I couldn't believe it. So even after 30 years, you don't get everything right. All you can do is ask to make it right. You know what I'm saying? That's all you can do.
Yeah, I've been led down that road a couple of times. I made a huge mistake on an engine. I guess I didn't torque the rods when I put it together, and it threw the rods out of it. And you totally replace. I mean, you do whatever you can to replace the product. We actually gave him a totally different engine.
Yeah.
I mean, you just got to do what you got to do sometimes in the business, and you're gonna make mistakes. It happens, but
I tell you, Adam, if you just do what's right, the rest will fall in place.
Yeah, that's right. I think.
I would agree with that. I feel like in our business, we've earned more return customers by proving ourselves, standing behind our stuff when everything isn't perfect, and showing them that we'll stand behind it, as opposed to just being perfect right out of the gate, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
100%. And Mike, so one of our previous guests actually hired some employees using this show. I don't know currently if you're hiring or ever looking for employees. If someone that's inspiring to go to work and looking for a job, interested in Mac trailers, what branches do you have across the U.S.? And then if someone was interested in a job, how would that process work?
Well, they would just get a hold of us on our Mac Trailer website, and we're always hiring. We're hiring anywhere from forklift operators to welders to fabricators to warehouse managers to director of HR for 1,700 people. We just hired a new director over top of all of our companies. So we have a variety of jobs. We're just growing all the time.
Awesome.
So people.
Is it hardest finding the laborers, the welders? I mean, the fabricators, welders. Is that the hardest?
It kind of is, but I'll be honest with you. If you have good foremans that are in the fab shop, and you have a good foreman leading 17 or 18 people making parts every day, they work for that man. They might come to Mac Trailer because we're a successful company, but at the end of the day, they work for the foreman and the supervisor that runs that plant. Very important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nice insight. Nice insight on that.
I'd be curious to know, going from your one-man shop in 1992 to, what you've become today. At what point, even if it was really early on, did you stand there and think, you know what, this is going to be something? How did you go from, replacing brakes on trailers to actually building trailers? What was that turning point that you can remember, the day, the place you were standing where you're like, this is going to be something?
Well, I guess that's the one person that's been instrumental in my life is Gary Gray out of New Jersey. He came in with his $1 million Prevost, and I had a one-bay shop, and I was welding on trailers. He called me on the phone, and he saw one of my Mac trailers, and he came down. I didn't want anybody to come to my one-bay shop because it was really rough, guys. I didn't have a restroom, honest to God. I had no heat and no restroom. Gary Gray is like a father to me today still. And he came in there and wanted to know if he was at the right place, obviously. He saw me welding, and I said, can I help you? And he said, I'm Gary Gray. And Gary Gray turned around. He was a big trucker up in New York, New Jersey, and he turned around and probably bought 500 trailers from me.
Wow.
Because he was a guy that started like I did with nothing, and he knew he knew we had heart for the job. And after selling to Gary Gray, he could have bought anything he wanted, any brand, anything. And after I started selling to him, I really started to realize that I actually have a company that can go somewhere, But I'll be honest with you, I wake up every day and I'm scared of losing, and I don't stop. There's competition around the corner every day. It's kind of like on that track. Every day we go to that track, we got competition. They're coming at you. In business, the same way. You got to stay on top of your game or somebody will take it.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
And then when you don't, dude, you still keep coming back because you want to win.
That's right.
That perm stock class is tough, man. Mini rod class is tough. All the classes are tough, but yeah, it's what keeps you coming back.
That's what keeps us coming back. We get a good win, and then we come back for more. So it's all good. So really, I don't know. I don't feel still today. I can tell you honestly that we made it. What making it is, I guess, I want to see other people make it that's with me.
Right.
Because I'm okay. I'm going to do fine the rest of my life. But I want to see the team grow, keep growing when I'm a little tired, things get older. I want to see Tate, and I want to see Chad, my son-in-law, and Jeff, and the rest of the team, sales guys. I want to see them keep growing. That's success to me when I'm 80 years old and I see Mac Trailer keep growing. Now that's when I'm
awesome.
feeling successful.
Badass.
Hell of a mindset.
I love it.
Tyler, you got something for Mike and Tate?
All right. Mike, what we usually do here when people just get on because they're not quite as outspoken as you is we have some rapid fire questions to kind of break their shell and get them talking a little bit. And a man like yourself that is well spoken knows how to get on here and shake it up right away. But nonetheless, we're going to hit you with these kind of more silly rapid fire questions just to kind of give people the opportunity to see a different side of you here. So, all right, here we go. If you had to take a hunting and fishing trip for a weekend or a Vegas vacation for a weekend, which one would you choose?
Hunting and fishing.
hypothetically, if you were guaranteed second place at every single pull you would go to, but you could never win, but you're pretty much guaranteed a championship, would you take that, or do you always want the opportunity for the win?
I want to win.
I like it. Who do you think would win in a 100-yard dash, Brandon Simon or RJ Simon?
I'd say Brandon, even though it's not my question.
I saw RJ run at the farm show.
He can
when
be
the pod was
speedy.
coming out, and he can move. I'm
He
going to say
can.
RJ.
Okay,
he's a
we
little
got one
lighter on his
Brandon.
foot.
one
I think he's
RJ.
lost a little weight. I think he's lost a little bit. So.
Would you rather pull a 4-engine tractor or a mini rod?
Probably start out on a mini rod.
Yeah, good option. Tate, what about yourself?
I think I'd do the 4-engine mod.
Okay, we've got some diversity there. Mike, are you a waffles or a pancakes guy?
What the hell? A pancake guy.
Good answer. Good answer. Who do you think
What
would
the
win?
hell?
Who do you think would win in a game of checkers? Kevin Masterson versus Rob Russell.
Ooh, I don't know. That's good. I would have to say, I got to vote. I'd say McMasterson. I'd have to
Kevin.
You're going Masterson? Tate,
Yeah.
what about yourself?
You're going to get us
You
in
going
trouble.
Masterson or Russell? That's a tough one, I know. These
It
are
would be
hard
a
hitting questions.
head battle, I guarantee you that.
Yeah.
I might go. I might go old Rob.
You're going Rob. All right.
Yep.
Mike, when it comes to pulling, would you rather beat your daughter or have your daughter beat you?
My daughter beat me, hands down.
That's fair.
My vote on that.
All right. Weekend-long camping trip in the wilderness. Would you rather have Vaughn Bauer or Wayne Purser to help you survive?
Von Bauer.
Vaughn Bauer? Good
But
answer. Good answer.
it would be
All right.
too dirty for Wayne.
Yeah, I would agree. There's no fishing boats in the wilderness, right, guys?
There's no applesauce with cinnamon in it. Okay.
All right, and last one. This is a real tough one. Who would win in an arm wrestling contest, Rhett Parrish or Jason Svenovich?
Jason.
Jason got it. I think. Yeah.
Jason. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for entertaining us.
Well done. Well done.
Well done. You know,
Well
those
done,
guys. Those guys have been out of the game here for a little bit. They're coming back. I know you guys hung out a lot with Steve and that whole group. I mean, it's good to see those guys coming back in the pro stock class.
Oh,
Yep.
for sure.
Yep.
They're a good group of guys, and they're like Mike. Jason works his ass off.
Yep.
7 days a week in that coal mine. People don't even realize how hard that whole group works.
Yeah.
I give
Definitely.
them guys a lot of credit.
Yep. Yep.
Absolutely.
Good stuff on the rapid fire there, Mike. I know it's probably your first ever rapid fire, so I'm sure. Hopefully, it was a memorable one. Especially,
It's okay. It's okay. At least he didn't ask you if you were picking the low hanging fruit. Who could you beat up for something? I mean,
yeah, he's been a lot worse. He's done a lot worse. You actually got by pretty easy.
we actually
Still
built
didn't
yours.
answer the
Listen,
breakfast question.
yeah.
Did you? Oh, you said pancakes?
Pancakes. Yeah, pancakes.
Yeah.
Pancakes. Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
a pancake guy myself, really. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mike,
gotcha.
question we ask a lot of our guests, and this can be, you can have a couple answers to this, but the sport of pulling, to grow it, and you know, we all want to grow it where a guy like Tate can't have the reference of making as much money going around home pulling as you do traveling down the road. Like everyone wants to grow the sport. Everyone on this podcast wants to grow it. If you could change one, or you can mention a couple things that would help grow the sport of pulling, what would you change from where it sits presently? And Tate, you feel free to answer that as well.
I think I have my own opinion, I guess. I don't know about growing the sport, but I guess
Let's just say okay, so just in general, just if you could change one thing about pulling, what would
If you're
you
in
change?
charge of NTPA, PPL, Outlaws, whatever, what would you put in place, or what would you strive to make changes with? You know, what
my
would you change?
view would be to if you're running like the Champions Tour, the Grand National Circuit, instead of and I'm going to use our class as a reference, nothing against anything or anybody else. I think we have 22 hooks this year. 12 events, 22 hooks. I would like to see,
time in between.
16 hooks, 8 events with it bigger venues.
Right.
How do we get there? I can't answer that.
Yeah.
Right.
No, that's a fair statement.
I mean, we love tractor pulling, we love hanging out, but
they're a lot of work, man.
You get to September, unless we're all about worn out.
Well, and for anybody that doesn't know, anybody watching this podcast knows, a Pro Stock is a very maintenance-heavy vehicle. I mean, if you run things right, which you got really good people around you, you guys get some pretty good life out of them. But, I mean, that's very demanding for a Pro Stock. It's very demanding for a multi-engine puller. It's very demanding for mini rod drivers.
Just demanding for all of us, right?
Yeah, week in and week out. I mean, be ready and be safe. Like they want us to be all the time, but I mean, it is tough. Absolutely.
Not only your pulling vehicle, but your rigs. You got to go to work during the week. You got to handle your rigs. You got to pack.
You guys still have regular jobs during the week. You still have things to do.
Right. My view would be less Grand National hooks and somehow bigger venues.
Yep. Basically the
how do we do that? I don't know how we get there yet, but that's
so you're saying
super national,
like 8 super national events, basically, where we're there for multiple days.
Quality over
that would be awesome. A little money behind it for us pullers or whoever,
That would be awesome if we could get to there one day.
That's my vision, I guess, futuristically.
Mike,
I guess my opinion is I'm with Tate on that. Bigger pools, that doesn't grow the sport. And the gambling that's coming into the sport, I think is absolutely huge. Most sports don't survive without gambling. I think this is the biggest thing in pulling that I have seen in my 15 years since pulling that can help the pullers. This is a big deal, so that the purse money, if our circuit can't make money, we'll never make any money. So this gambling thing is a big deal. But when we're gambling, we've got to change our TV views. We've got to have entertainment on this TV, because it's not the 4,000, 5,000 people in the stands. It's about the people watching it on TV. Somehow, and it's very hard. Somehow we've got to entertain these people in between. When that sled goes down there and we're backing up and there's nothing on TV for people to watch. There's nothing. All of us Grand National drivers that are on TV should talk about our lives, and we should have some 30 seconds about what we do and who we are, so that the people can watch us and where they're entertained in between the tractors. There's constant entertainment. When you go to a basketball game or football game, football is really fast, but basketball gets slow. As soon as those players are off the field, there's entertainment on the basketball team, on the field, on the court, right? So we've got to figure out how to entertain people between the dead time of tractor pulling. And I think, and I don't have those answers, but I can tell you that is our problem, to entertain people on TV. I really like the bar on the bottom of the TV. I think PPL, I saw it one time. If I'm 320 and the guy's coming, the bar's chasing me. So that
on MAV TV.
Yeah, on MAV TV. Yep. We've got to get that. We've got to get a little story up in the top corner about every puller coming to the line.
Interviews, all that.
Interviews. Every tractor should be named. I think that the tractor should have a name on it, so that people can get online when they're online betting and stuff. They can say, I like that name. I'm betting the name. Every horse has a name.
Right.
So these are things that have to be somewhat.
Damn, Mike, I like how you think.
Well, I agree with it. I agree with him 100%. He really has the vision of, what people have short-term memory. An NFL game, the plays are every 40 seconds, give or take, in between whistles. But I mean, there are storylines in pulling that are interesting. There are ways that we can make it visually better to see on TV. I think your whole realm of what you're talking about is having the best TV possible to show what the sport actually is, and not crunched into a short time span. Give it an hour. to really explain some stuff, and I think that would really, the viewership and the TV is the most important thing, I think.
And to his comment, in my opinion, I feel nothing against anything, but we get all these, same polls every year, right? Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
Right.
Boom, boom, boom. If we can get more shows like, say, for instance, the MAC Winter Nationals, you get 6 or 8 of them a year. I think that'll get more exposure than
Definitely
22 of them.
Right.
Bigger attaching the tractor pull to a show. Okay.
Yes. Right.
We have the truck show, the farm show.
Concert. If you could put a concert series together, if you could attach it to something where the people kind of are there for another reason, but once they see it, they're hooked. You got to get them there.
And I never know. That's not really the roots of the sport, I guess.
Right.
But I don't know. That's just what I see.
Yeah, the roots has us paying. The roots ain't paying very much to win right now, Tate. In case you
I understand that. We're not all here to make money either, right?
Yeah, but I think it also hurts. I think it also hurts pulling in some fashion because I see this across the board. Here you have the Mike Conny Mac Trailer Pro Stock team. Now, you guys run a lot of places. You'll even mix it up at some events that you like going to support certain people that you like and everything. But that's also not helping the sport because some of these pulls are not Grand National, I would say. And you get a lot of influx of the big dogs coming down, and it makes it really hard for the other guys too. So if you had the highest level pulling separated with our 8 to 10 events a year, then, you can still have what we have now with all the other, because that's a very important part of it too. And then you have the even the state level, but having the separation, I think will help get pullers into the sport because they can afford it and you're not having to spend as much as, the highest level to get going. But
yeah, I think even at some of the state levels, heck, some of them guys go pulling just as much as we do.
I know it's a lot, man. It's a
lot. Nothing against any of them. I mean, from our level down, it's
you can't forget about the state level because if the state level wasn't there, I wouldn't be in pulling.
Right.
So the state level, Region 1, Region 2, you have to have those guys because they're diehards too. Where we all start, and then some of us get up to the Grand National. So we're all one team. But I think
I was just saying, I guess, as far as what I was trying to compare to. So let's say you're going to go 2-wheel drive pulling in the state of Ohio, and you're a first-time guy that's never had anything, and you're just starting up out of anywhere, and you show up in there. And I'm not throwing names out here just because if a Petro's there, a Russ Nichols is there. I mean, these Grand National caliber guys are there. Yeah, you're like, man, I want to compete with those guys. But when they show up every week, and you just drove 4 hours to get there, you used all your money and fuel and all that stuff, you're getting 10th or worse. I mean, does it make you want to keep coming back? I don't think so. I
don't know. When I started out pulling and we sucked when we got into the mini rod class, I wanted to pull against the best of the best people out there, even if it meant I was 30 foot back,
right,
to see where I stacked up against them and talking to people. We've got a region pull Hudsonville that used to happen every year, and my dad and I would go to that. And I mean, not that we go to a ton of NTPA region pulls, but all the guys love to see us there. And when we sucked and we missed our tune up and they kicked our ass, they loved nothing more to be like, I beat one of the sloughs tonight, So personally, I love seeing, the support from all classes being spread around when they want to, jump around. As far as attaching a pole to an event like that, I couldn't agree more. When the mini rods roll out of Broadbent for the truck show and we're all outside and all these beautiful semi trucks are on display right there and they've got the caution tape up. And when everybody starts firing those things up outside, I mean, like a moth to a flame, everyone is drawn and everybody's got their phones out. And as soon as those things shut off, where do we get tickets? What time does it start? Where can we go? Is it sold out? So to have an audience like that, where there's a large amount of people already in the vicinity, once you get outside and you start making noise like that and they put their eyes on those machines, I mean, they can't resist it. So what you guys have done with that event, I mean, it's perfect.
Well,
It's a perfect recipe.
it gives us and you guys as pullers a thrill too. It's like you're coming out of the tunnel going to the Super Bowl, you know?
Yes,
Right.
absolutely.
Well, absolutely. For a mini rod guy, it's the best thing you have because we don't pull at the farm show, right? So I mean, this is like, and in the semi guys, they don't, they never pull indoors much, or they're at the largest truck show for what they have, and their stuff is just as beautiful as any of the show trucks. I mean, it's a big thing for all of us. I wish we pulled like that every weekend. Obviously, we're all trying to get there, but man,
selfishly, that's what we want, right? But
yeah, I do.
Right.
I mean, maybe there's some old guys some old heads out there that don't want to see that, and that's fine. But I have not ran into anybody in my lifetime that hasn't seen our sport that hasn't had some sort of attraction to it. I think what hurts it, maybe more than anything, is the word tractor attached to it, because everybody tractor pull. I mean, I think Tate's running the G this weekend at the county fair, like that's what they think. You're like your granddaddy's tractor. Yeah. We don't have granddaddy's tractor here. You wouldn't call that a tractor. I do a lot of shows. People walk and they say, "What is that?" And when I say tractor, like I don't get it. You know what I mean? Like,
see, around here, it's weird. You go to an antique pull like that, and Carlton and James go and take their G's. I swear there's just as many people at those pulls as there is the state level hook with pro stocks and two wheelers and whatever else there is.
Awesome. Well, I mean,
yeah, and back to what Mike's made the point earlier, and one of the first things we asked Mike was how he gets his purse money where it is, and he used it basically via sponsorship and his contacts with his business, which is great, but sponsors, like new sponsors and new money to be brought in the sport, in the world we live in 2024, they're not going to come on how many people are sitting in seats. They're going to come on digital numbers and digital presence, and how many people are tuning in digitally to watch this event, not how many people are in the stands watching it. So if you can build that up and get that number up to an elevated number where it's attractive, because the sport will sell itself when it has a proper presentation with people. But where we are just with as a sport as a whole digitally, we don't have a huge presence in terms of viewership, live at these events. So if and how you can build that up, I think that's the gateway to getting the new outside sponsors in, the new revenues in that we all want to have in to the sport. So,
well, that being said, I mean, Shell's a big company. They really want a lot to do with pulling. They really do. And they look at it as a great B2B, as business to business. And, I'm sure that Mike's sponsors do the same. It's a good business to business thing, and it's for charity. And if you can get these people in a room and talk to them, I think the money is there. You just have to have the right guy. And the guy's sitting right there in front of that green tractor. He's a genius. He's a very successful businessman. He knows how to deliver. And that's why I've always said, man, I'll follow Mike Conny anywhere. The guy's, he's who I want to be.
Yep.
Thanks, Adam.
You just say that because you got a last
or
minute.
anything, but I really do. I respect you a lot and what you've done. It's the most, outside the gambling thing, it's the most interesting, awesome thing about pulling these days. I think.
What about the is there any chance you would ever, Mike, be open to promoting other events, or is that something, I'm just curious, and us selfishly would like to have you do 20 of them, but would you ever do another event?
I wouldn't say I wouldn't do another event, but like I was in Iowa yesterday. I had lunch with Vaughn because we build trailers at Vaughn's place. Yep. We have a relationship, right? Yep. And obviously we talk about business, then we talk about pulling. We're all diehard pullers, and what can we do? Would I have another event? Maybe, but I feel strongly about starting on first base. Yep. And in the NTPA and the PPL, both of those guys really work hard as I've gotten to be a little bit of a promoter on a few polls that I've put on, this is very difficult, guys. There's a lot of work that goes into all of this. Nobody makes any money. All the tech people, the officials, you ask them to leave for the weekend and come do all this work for us, because all of us pullers pull into that parking lot, and here's everything. That the trailers are set up, the scales are set up, the officials are on the track. It is an enormous amount of work, and there's so many people that give their time for free in our sport that you don't realize it either until, well, what are we going to do here? Well, how are we going to get this guy, right? Who's this? And then I sit back and I go, damn, both these sides, both of our circuits, there's a lot they do for not a lot. So I guess my hat goes off to all those people. But would I do another poll? We just want to walk a little bit, get this one up and running. Our goal here is to fill the house.
Yep.
Friday and Saturday night at the farm show, it was a full house.
Yep.
I want to look up there at this event, and we're about 9,000, 8,500 every year. Hopefully, we can fill the house, and once we fill the house, then maybe Louisville, the fair board will give us Friday nights, because we've been asking for that.
Right.
Yep.
Because we think that there's a better crowd on Friday night, even more people. But let's get this one going, and then move on from there. That's our goal.
Yeah, I think we talked last year about it, Mike. Like, no offense to them, they've been there all week working, but even like the people in the shell booth, Saturday about 2:00, the show's over at 4 or 4:30, and they're done with the show. They're getting on the planes and they're going home. We need those people Friday because they're there and they have to be there Saturday. If we get them in there, there's a lot of opportunities for people that have companies that go, man, I could get on board with this. And, it would really help. Now, it's difficult to preach that to the truck show. I think we're doing a good job, and I think we're putting on a good show, and I think you're doing a great job with what you're doing. But obviously, crawl before you walk. It's hard to fill Freedom Hall. It's hard to fill a lot of these arenas these days if that's the route we're going.
Yeah, that's our goal. Our goal is to do a good job so that the fair board in Louisville will let us maybe on a Friday night, because there's a lot of also owners of trucking companies that go home Saturday morning. There's a lot of people that go home Saturday morning, and I've experienced that in 3 years. And so we're trying to, with all of us doing a good job, maybe we can get it just a Friday night. That would be a big deal, but we're still working on it, and we're just kind of walking in before we run. So I hope I answered that question, Chase. I don't know if I did.
Absolutely. So basically, the charge by everyone listening to this podcast. You want more badass pulling? Tell your friend, tell everybody about it, to go buy a ticket to the Mac Winter Nationals. We'll get that shit to a multi-day event. One day moving forward, and then from there, who knows what we can get done. So for all you pulling fans that want to do something, tell somebody, come to Louisville, Kentucky, March 23rd. So thanks for that info there, Mike.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Tell us about the Dump Hunger program, and did you guys actually fill a Mack trailer full of food?
Yeah, we do it every year, guys. We've been doing it for years and years and years. And I didn't have anything to do with it. All I said was, I'll put the Peterbilt in front of the truck and give you the trailer. And my HR department and the team at Mack Trailer has always done that. And it's really our employees that do that. I just furnish the truck and trailer. Yep.
No kidding.
Yep.
Awesome.
I was reading about it online. They fill a trailer with food, and then they donate it to the community there, involving the Salvation Army and everything. I thought that was pretty neat.
And then we also each shop puts together about 5 to 10 turkey Thanksgiving dinner kits and totes. I don't know, there's quite a few of them.
We buy
12 to 13 shops, and we spread those throughout, with the local police and fire departments, and we do that also during Thanksgiving time for everybody as well.
That's awesome.
We buy 2,000 turkeys every Thanksgiving and 2,000 hams for every Christmas.
Dang.
Give it to everybody, but there again, we can't do that without our customers, without our hardcore truckers and that work every day.
100%.
Can't do it without them.
Yep, absolutely. All good stuff. On behalf of Mac Trailers, I'm sure we can go on and on about the good deeds and the great things it's doing. But the one thing we've not talked about hardly at all is the Mac Daddy Pro Stock team. The Pro Stock class is absolutely crazy and stupid. And when I say crazy and stupid, just the level of competition. And we were talking about the list for the Mac Winter Nationals, like. You could literally throw 30 probably plus vehicles in there and just draw them out of a hat because everyone's so tough and so good at what they do. So I guess as a lead in your team, I know Carl, you got James and Carl too, who aren't on here as well. And you guys do a lot of the work yourself. But, what is the key to having a hell of a pro stock team? It's no secret it takes funding and people know that part, but it's more than that. Like, what would you say your all's we lost him for a second.
Oh boy.
Ooh, first time. There we go. Oh, he kicked Mike out.
Mike got up to pee and ruined the whole show.
Great recovery, Tate.
He had a technical question. He's like, I'm gonna let Tate answer this.
Yeah. I gotta go piss. And he put in the
I missed
camera.
the last part of the question, Tate.
Yeah, so basically, it's no secret. It takes funding. Everyone, spends money on their rigs. But like, what do you think is the most vital part of having a successful pro stock team, knowing how competitive it is?
Well, I'll be
honest. If you had to name one thing specifically,
it's no different than business, Chase. We built teams with people in business, and it's the same that we built this team. So outside of Mike and myself and James and Carlton, we got a lot of good people supporting us. Bill Humphrey does all our driveline parts and chassis work and helps us through that. Weimer Fuel and Air, Chad Mayo on tires, Jim Fink, Cyclone Machines, still involved here and there. It's like anything you do in life, right? It's all about team. So
surround yourself.
Mike told me there years ago, hey, figure this out, build a team. So we build a team, and we all get along. We have fun. That helps a lot. We take it serious, but we still have fun. And he's allowed us to do what it takes to develop things and improve. We're lucky enough to have that. I'll be honest with you, but.
So has the Mitas tires changed the pro stock class?
Just cost us money.
Just cost you money? Well, I need to know this, Mike, because, the mini rods have kind of revolved around always using the same kind of tire, the same brand of tire, whatnot. And, some people want to see some different things. You guys had like a what do you want to call it? Merry-go-round of tires the last couple of years. How's that kind of affected the pro stock class?
And I'll be honest, I think it's definitely changed the game, but I don't know if the other people are totally out yet. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It's a trendy deal. Obviously, if you have an unlimited tractor, Mitas tires. You look at the diesel supers, Poland, right? And
you try a set of tires here or there, and then you get a set that works and you like, and
right,
something else comes out, or you want to work with somebody. It's hard to get away from what works.
Right.
Also, you're willing to try that, getting ready to go into the Grand National season, not knowing.
Those are big tires. They cost a lot of money. I think we look at the mini rod class like, oh, these new tires are coming out. We all got to have them, right? And it's like, is this a good or a bad thing? I get it. Everybody should have the best opportunity to put forth, a product that's within the rules that we can run and stuff. But it just seems to me like in the modified class, the Mitas tire kind of was a game changer. I didn't know if it was or not in the pros.
Go ahead, Tate.
I'll go back to being selfish again.
Right.
I'm like you. I'm like, damn, another set of tires out. This is crazy.
Right.
And then, people like us that have 2 tractors and you want to win and be competitive, of course, we're going to go.
Trying.
Well, shit, you better get 2 sets of tires. Just try 'em.
Right. I know it.
Mike
Surely
looked like
not.
he had no.
But in a way, there's other vendors and tire companies out there other than Meat Toss that are still going to try
Right.
and come out with something else new to keep up with them.
Right.
So it keeps the business side of that going.
Right.
But yeah, I don't think. I mean, we still won last year with some pro pullers. I'm not counting them out again.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, that's good to know. I mean, it's a big question these days,
What Adam? What I can tell you is I'm worried for our class because these pro stocks have really cost a lot of money for all of our class and all of your class, all of
Sure.
us. The cost of this pulling has really gotten to a new level, and so when we come out with new tires, Mitas are great tires, and I think they hook as good as anything. But we had tires that were working, and now we have to go spend $20,000 on more tires,
Right.
because I can't keep up with I can't get in that group of 30 guys if I don't have that tire.
Right.
But we all had the same tire, so we're all equal anyway. We're our own worst enemy in a way, because it's just so expensive anymore. And actually, I'm that in the pro stock class. I mean, newcomers coming on, right? I mean, the guys that have been there for a while, but 10 years from now, we need some new blood. 5 years, right? We need new blood.
Upcoming generations.
Yeah, that kind of goes hand in hand with what I was saying about the highest level at the lowest level pulling competing. I don't know that it does or doesn't hurt. It is what it is. But the fact of the matter, if you want to have a competitive 2-wheel drive, you have to have a Champions Tour or Grand National truck just to compete at the lowest level. And that does hurt growth of the sport.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. But, have they kind of reached an area on the turbos where you guys have just kind of stopped going bigger? Like, I know that was a thing a couple years ago. Is there anything that the pro stock class could do that could relieve a little bit of the spending? I'm just asking. I don't know. I'm an alcohol guy.
I don't think that's hit us yet.
Right.
Because there's still options, right? So you're limited on the turbine side, the exhaust side,
but there is a limit.
There is a limit.
There's a limit.
There's finally a limit.
But things are still changing.
Right. No, and there will be tons of innovation. Every time the rules change, people will adapt. Hey, on a mini rod, we're going to drop the overdrive down to 30%. It's going to throw a wrench. In 5 pulls, everybody will have something figured out. Like, it's only a matter of time before they adapt. What's that?
What's that?
I have a question on your mini rod class.
Go ahead.
Mike talked about this.
Yeah, we open these questions. We love this. Come on.
We love it.
We're interested, and I don't know anything about it, but I feel like a lot of these rule changes are because your class gets out of control and wild. Am I right?
No.
Yeah.
How's come we haven't allowed the mini rods to have more weight so they can be more stable?
Well, that's interesting that you ask. I think I'm just going to take over because I'm a loudmouth here. But
I think this could be an interesting segment here.
So let's just rewind this really quick. A few years ago, we had some lightweight tires, right? And Chad, trying to improve the tire, came out with a little bit different of tire. It's a little bit heavier. All this stuff's going on. I think where the line is drawn in the sand for me is I voted to keep the weight class down. That's my opinion, but it's only because guys with old tires just get to add the extra weight on top of what they already have on the new tires. Do I think if we ran a serial number tire, a 2022 date code, if it's 2024, the tire can be no older than that. Everybody in the class is running the same tire that weighs the same. Then we add the 50 pounds to give us a little comfort zone that maybe calms it down. But I think last year we kind of all voted to keep the weight class the same ourselves.
Maybe,
and we're good with that.
Curious on on the backside.
It's all about the tire, in my opinion.
So my answer to that would be, obviously, yes, we all agree with that statement, that our class does get crazy. However, every single puller in the class is very well aware that if they would like to choose to make their tractor safer, but albeit less competitive, they're able to do so by lowering the hitch. And I feel like there is a lot of people don't know that in our class, I'm going to say over half of the class does not run a full hitch. So at that point, they're making the educated decision to say, I'm going to choose to lower my hitch, knowing I'm going to keep it under control because we don't have the weight. And I feel like that's what makes our class kind of one to watch, because if you really want to push it and kind of, toe that line, you can choose to say, I'm going to maybe run my hitch a little bit.
See what happens.
I'm going to run my hitch a little bit higher than maybe what I should, knowing it might get out of control. However, I might have a competitive advantage. And that's why, our class is kind of, I guess some people have said, like the no prep of tractor pulling, because we almost have more power than what we can use. And, we've all been in rules meetings, where you have some people saying, well, we got to keep it safe. We got to keep it safe. And it's like, no, if you want to keep it safe, you put your drawbar at 12 inches, you can go out there and make pass after pass after pass. You might not win. You might, if everybody else is out there getting out of control. So that's one side of it. But for me, the second side of it is you give us more weight. Everybody piles it on the nose. Everybody raises their hitch up because they've got more drawbar, right? Now we're going to go out there. We're going to be, hooking these things even harder. We're probably going to put more stress on our rear ends. And we're going to start finding that next weak link because, now we can run a bigger bar tire because we've got more front end weight. Now maybe our rear end doesn't hold up. We all got to switch to a heavier rear end. And now we're right back to square one. Now we got a heavier rear end because the other one can't hold up.
Which we're there. We're there.
The rear ends I feel like now. The class is at a pretty good balance as far as like, if you put really, really good driveline parts in these tractors, as a whole, they should not break. It's not like a 4-engine tractor where it's not if, it's when. People know that running a 4-engine tractor, it's inevitable. You're gonna break a planetary eventually. But like these mini rods, if you maintenance it every season, things are kind of balanced as far as the weight on them and whatnot. But
yeah, we're just curious.
Chase, what do you think of
that? Really quick answer. If you want to keep it safer, they just need to make it harder to get a license to drive one of them, and that probably solves a lot of problems. So that's pretty well the easiest way to say it, because there's a lot of tire and a lot of horsepower there, and just make it harder to get a license, and then I promise you it'll be safer. But
I tell you
that's
what,
a very good question.
Out of the three guys here, the older I get, every year the season starts and I sit in the seat, I am a little bit more nervous than I was the year before. And you start, I mean, it's just inevitable. You're getting older, right? I've had some bad rides. They don't feel good. They hurt.
They don't.
So you really start figuring out.
I got to be the fattest guy in the class, I would say, and I am not in favor of the weight being raised.
Right.
Because I just feel like it's going to start a whole circle of, breaking things and whatnot. So back to the tire. Oh, go ahead, Mike.
So you guys don't want to be like Pro Stocks.
10,000 pounds, throw it at what you can. I mean, it takes it, right?
But let me tell you, 40 pounds on the front of that John Deere at 10,000 pounds will throw your world apart.
Yeah.
So moving weight, but I can see what you're saying, but I kind of worry about your class. I love your class, but I worry about those things getting wicked and somebody getting hurt, and about the people coming into your class. Let me ask you, do you in the last 5 years, do you have some new people in your class?
Oh yeah,
most of them, a lot of them that wreck.
Yeah, we've got a ton of newcomers into the class.
I remember
that.
Yeah,
I think the narrative came that if we stick a light enough driver in the seat and we get this thing all set up, we got front end weight, that you can go out there and just open it up and it's going to hook and go. And I think more than anything, you have to drive these things. And it's probably no different than a Pro Stock. I mean, that clutch pedal is what wins the pull. I believe. I could be wrong, but you see people drive these things, and we're right on that edge of. I think our tires are a little bit heavy for our weight, but there is, even in building a new tractor, there's weight that's still available there. Like this tractor right here behind me, folks, we've had it on the scales. The sheet metal's killing me. I mean, there's a lot of things on this vehicle that hurt. I do it as because a visual. I have a sponsor. I want to be bright. It's my dad's trademark. It is the absolute worst thing on a mini rod is that extra weight that you can't put on the nose. So
kudos to you for keeping running.
You got to make the will way. I don't know. Maybe I'm going to strip them off there. I hate to do it, but I want to win too. You know what I mean? Like,
I've got another question for Mike. Going back to the tires, you kind of spoke to the METASes with a bit of, sure, I guess everybody got better, but everybody advanced the playing field together. Nobody's got something on someone because they all just got them. Do you think it's a good idea for sanctioning bodies to limit classes to running one specific manufacturer tire for an entire class?
No, guys. I think it's a free enterprise for all businesses, without a doubt. The pullers, like our little class, could have just stayed with pro pullers and we'd be fine. But we all ran out there and bought new tires because we have to win. I think it's good that new manufacturers can come into our sport, make a better product. So I might have whined a little bit about the tires, but at the end of the day, it's great that new suppliers can come into our sport.
Right.
That's
you weren't acting like Adam, Mike.
No. I'm the black sheep here. Everybody looks at me like I'm probably the worst person on here, but whatever. No.
Speaking of the pro stock class, because obviously we talk mini rods on this show, but pro stock is probably, if not the most popular, one of the most popular classes in pulling. How much obviously stuff breaks unintentionally or unplanned a lot of times, but in the middle of a summer, and this is probably a question for Tate, when you're chasing a Grand National title, like how much do you have to work on that thing? If you don't mind revealing, just a typical maintenance of the tractor week to week.
If we don't break anything, you mean?
Nobody intentionally ever breaks anything. Yeah. So, like typically to avoid breakage,
so a normal week we come out of Benson this year healthy. What do we do between then and Farley?
No.
There you go.
That's right.
So, about 6 to 8 runs on an oil change. We run the valves every 4 to 6 passes. Bearing no problems, obviously.
Yeah.
We adjust our clutches. We're a little different setup than everybody every 2 passes.
We see a little dust flying out of them. It needs some maintenance.
You don't have to reveal any secrets. I'm actually curious myself, to be honest.
The basic maintenance, pretty much valve train, oil, clutch. And your clutch was every 2 passes on ours. I'll be honest about that. I don't care.
Yeah.
We run a little different setup than other people. Valve train, we like to check typically every 4 to 6 passes. Run the valves if everything's good. Turbochargers are pretty solid. Sometimes you get a little wet stacking or something, or a little grindy sounding. We'll send them back to Weimers and get them freshened up. We monitor RPM, speed, all that crap on turbos. Intercoolers are a deal. We've gotten those a lot better over the past couple of years.
Vital to the performance.
Obviously, we don't want to suck water at the starting line or have a leaky cooler.
Yeah.
Other than that, bearing a big problem. Usually every 4 to 6 passes, other than the clutch.
Well, what a couple of years ago, a lot of guys are struggling.
Rolling bearings in these things every pass. You know what I mean?
That's good to hear.
But we have in the past. We've got that behind us, we think.
Between our group and our team and our people that we work with, we've got a pretty reliable engine program. Knock on wood. I hate to say that.
Yep.
Yeah, no,
But
that's
like, things have happened. We've had some valve train issues last year. I'll be open about it. I won't tell details or what we've done to fix it.
right. No, you shouldn't.
We wouldn't want you to.
We're always working on something, because when you fix another problem, and
Sure.
and we're always trying to progress, you find another problem. Just the same as anything.
Just good maintenance and good practice. And you always learn, and you're always learning. It don't matter what class you're pulling, you're always learning.
And there's a routine. We get home from every weekend. There's a routine, exactly what happens. I mean, it's pretty tight program.
Yeah, got it.
And we get home, we all unload, and then me and Mike go to work Monday, and James is here Monday morning. He's doing exactly what we want in a specific order. And that's just how it goes. If there's an issue, then Carlton gets involved. Then we figure it out.
Makes sense. How many runs can you make in one of those engines if everything goes well in terms of the rods and all that happening before you have to swap any of that typically?
I think the last engine that was happy, I'll call it happy, was 26 passes. Outside of normal, just normal maintenance, we had 26 passes on before it broke crankshaft.
Got it.
Oh,
cool.
That's still impressive, though.
Yeah, it is. Really is.
Very good.
And
this is a lot of these guys, not just us, but a lot of these guys. I mean, we're competing against some very veteran people in this class too that really know what they're doing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, to say the least. They play checkers out here.
We're kind of proud of where we've come to and done what
that's
we've
right,
done and continue to do what we do.
As you should be. As you should be.
Yeah.
Is the diesel you all run? Is it just like could you just go to a gas station and get the diesel out of the diesel pump? Is it the same as that?
Hey, you probably laugh at us what I told you we were on. I'll just keep that as that.
He's hitting the Adam button. He's not telling us what he's running.
Hey,
I'll be honest with you. Out on the internet, we go to the farm tank out back and we pull.
It's hot. Yeah, it's hot.
We've tested fuels for days. Trust me.
And you use the farm fuel.
People like some of it, but we're not there yet.
That's pretty insightful info there. I like hearing that.
Hey, we're on a budget too. So.
As you're drinking your Busch Light.
Right. So, I would like to know if you guys, are at Bowling Green Saturday night and you're the last tractor in the class. Obviously we all get along good as far as fellow competitors in one another's classes. But if you had to take the win from someone that you're going to, beat out for that first place spot, who do you guys want to see that taken from? And I know we're all polite, and we don't want to be rude to anybody, but everybody's got to kind of have that person.
I'll answer you. Jason Ruin, because he beat my daughter last week.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. I love it. Tate, what about you?
I'll be honest with you, and I guarantee he's listening right now. I'd like to go whoop Brandon Simon's ass, and then we'd have a beer afterwards. Laugh.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yep. Well, that may not be a good subject right now. That may not be a good subject right now with the trailer issue Mike was talking about earlier, but I'm sure that was just between Mike and RJ, not you and Brandon, right?
So when
that's just good old buddy competitors,
Right.
Good
That's
guys.
right. That's what makes it fun.
Yeah,
so at the end of the night, we're all done pulling. I've seen that Kubota driving around every now and then with some guys in it. Whose trailers you stopping after the pull's over with to check in with people? I mean, who's some of your favorite people to stop by and see at the pulls?
Kind of depends where we're at, to be honest with you.
All right.
Like a Bowling Green.
Yep.
We like to kind of stop everywhere, and we like to go out to the.
You're in the high rent district down there on the asphalt, so you guys are kind of like right there in the main influx of who's running through there.
We're open. We'll kind of stop anywhere. We like to have beers with everybody.
Yep.
People tractor pulling. We don't.
I like to go see Dude.
Yep.
Wayne
Persinger.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mike,
I like to go visit Wayne.
I don't know if you remember this a couple years. It's been many years ago at Toma. You guys stopped by, and I don't know. Did you guys have a Jeep or something? at one point in time, or
back in the day.
Yeah, so I thought there was a Jeep there. So guys all jump out. My dad's out there, whatnot, and I come back from I don't know where, and I'm walking. And I see like $100 bill laying on the ground. And I walk a couple feet, and there's another $100 bill laying on the ground. I picked up maybe $300 or $400. It wasn't a whole bunch, but well, it wasn't a lot. I would say it wasn't a massive amount of money or anything. And I seen Mike over there talking to my dad. I was like, oh shit. Well, I know this isn't mine because I don't have like $25 in my pocket. So I walked up to Mike, and I think you guys were having a whiskey drink or a scotch and cigar, and stopped by to see my dad and whatnot. But it was like
I
seeing
think
you
everybody
guys.
kind of congregates to, before you know it, you guys are there and we're there, and half our class is there, and
Right.
half the pullers are there.
We like to drive by. If somebody's sitting out in a chair and they're not real busy, you like to stop. But if they're busy, you know how it is. You all pullers, you don't want to bother people. But if people are out there and they're not real busy, we like to just stop and say hi.
Exactly.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Needless to say, this podcast has been one of our best in terms of viewership. Obviously, it's because of you guys and the MAC Winter Nationals announcement. So us three, me, Tyler, and Adam, agreed that we will keep a bottle of Belvedere in our trailers for the remaining of pulling history, because they were wanting to know what you drink, and I revealed some info. So you will always have some on ice whenever you feel like stopping in one of our camps.
Absolutely.
And before you guys were coming on the show, and I know I heard a little splash there, Mike. You got a couple more minutes. We typically do a segment on this show that's called the Man, I Wish There Was Practice. This is a no practice podcast because it's the only sport in the world where there is no practice. But we have a backstage technical guy who I think he's drinking tonight too, and he kind of got mixed up and brought you guys on, and we made it work. But we want to have you all as our guests on this Man, I Wish There Was Practice segment. We're getting ready to highlight here real quickly from the National Farm Machinery Show, and we're going to bring this person in. So I didn't get the accept.
Minute here.
Just hang around here with us for a few minutes, Mike and Tate. And Tyler, you can kind of take over. This is kind of your segment here.
Yeah, so here we see Mr. Ike Zering at the National Farm Machinery Show. And he's heading down the track. He's towards the beginning of the class. He's wide open into the sand pile, gets the red flag, hits the barrier. And that was, I think, the furthest distance that was pulled that weekend at the National Farm Machinery Show. They had to take a bit of a break and move some concrete barriers. We can see Ike out the window, kind of fist pumping there. Here we see it again in slow motion. I believe Mr. Mike Ott is the flagman there, giving him the green flag. He comes by. That thing hooks up, carries the pan just beautifully. And it's probably when the box tops there that Mr. Von Bauer thinks to himself, oh dear.
Yeah.
As Ike soars and plows through the sand pile, and you can see the red flag pack him into that barrier.
Scott Doty with the red flag there.
I mean, that's outstanding. I mean, boys, would you put it through the sand pile like that?
What's that?
Would you put it through the sand pile like that if given the opportunity?
Well,
that's a funny story.
I given the opportunity, but I can tell you, when you're real close and your speed of your tractor, I mean, God bless him, but damn,
we're going to hear from him.
I don't know what to say, but I hope he didn't bend his frame.
Oh, I think he might have. Do you think he should have let out of it a little bit sooner?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
you're probably right. We might have to call him up here and get his side of it.
I would say yes.
Ike,
how it is.
How's it going? This is Tyler on the No Prac podcast. We've got Mr. Case, Adam, Tate Ray, Mr. Mike Conny here. We're just reviewing your video from the farm show. Tell us what was going through your head during that phenomenal pass when you treated the sand pile like a snow pile and you had a plow on the front of your truck.
So a lot of it was I asked the rules earlier that day in the pool, and they stated that only the first truck had option to drop. If the class reset, the starting truck didn't have option. So on the second hook, Claypool was first, and he backed out of it. They reset it. And so I was next up, and I was like, I can't drop this, so I got to stay committed to it.
Oh, well, you stayed committed. I'll admit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So the reason I had the commitment was back in 19. Used to run the DeKalb Super Bowl. I know you pulled there a couple times, Tyler.
Yes, sir.
And one year, Dad put it right in the pile, and Rob Foster went in, and then everybody was going short. Well, then it was up to me, and I ran it, and I had more ground speed than any of them. And I was like, well, Dad's already got this in the bag. Like, I'll just put her in there and just kiss the pile. And I backed out like last 10 feet, just feathered it down, kissed the pile.
Yeah, you weren't doing that again, were you?
No. So I get out, and man, I thought, man, everybody be happy. And I'm like, getting stern look, why'd you back out of it? I was like, well, I didn't want to tear the truck up, and we already had the win. And Dad, he goes, we built that truck together, and if it can't hit that pile and still run, he goes, it was a hunk of shit to begin with. And so all weekend when we were getting the truck ready, everybody kept giving me shit. And they go, hey, are you going to back out of that pile? I said, no. They said,
it's intimidating.
No, I ain't going to back out of that pile.
No, you're not going to back out. You did.
And so typically I leave my belts loose. And I was like, I'm going to stay committed to this thing. I tightened them up as much as I could. And because I knew, I'm like, man, we're on that red sled. Like, we're going to get some speed with this thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you did. Yeah. Close to 40, right? Close to 40 mile an hour?
Yeah, I was 35 mile an hour.
Yep.
I was hooked 1-1. And I was like, we're going to go. And they told us in the meeting, they said, watch that red light at the top. Said, all right.
Yeah, you weren't watching the red light, were you?
No, I was. I had my eyes on that.
Yeah, I don't know about that, Ike.
I doubt it.
Out of the corner.
Yeah.
But I was fixated on that red light because they said, if anything's wrong, you're going to get the red light. I said, all right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, come on, Vaughn. I know you're back here. Stop this thing.
He stopped you, all right?
I get the flag like 5 feet from the pile.
Yeah.
And at that moment, I'm just like, well, we're committed. And I thought, well, I'm just going to let go of everything because if I hit this thing, I'm not going to bump the throttle and make it even worse.
Yeah, yeah.
I went right in that thing, and I didn't get hurt because I thought it was going to be more cushion.
Well, cement barriers don't have much cushion,
Well, that was the thing. I thought the sand pile was thicker. I thought, man, this thing's going to it's going to be a nice cushion. Pow!
Pow! Well, tell us about the damage. Tell us about the damage to the truck, Ike.
So I wasn't even thinking about the sled hitting me in the ass afterwards.
Oh, it hit you in the ass, all right.
Yeah. So we get it done, and I look at them. I was like, I want to keep it.
You're going to keep it. Yeah, I don't think you'd drop that pass, would you?
But
I think I can do better, boys. I'm going to drop it.
I looked at them, and I was like, well, run one more. And we're looking at the truck, and I'm like, well, track's not going to get better. I was like, I said, if you guys are not going to, you're going to reset it. I said, I'm just going to come right back.
Yeah.
I said, I don't know how bad it is, whatever. We're looking at it. I'm like, well, the bumper bars are completely trashed. The tailgate's trashed. And the bodies move like 6 inches forward.
Minor details.
I think the only thing hanging on that thing was the lift rods for the body. And so we're looking at it. Steering wheel's broke on the truck, but frame is solid. Hitch is solid, everything. I'm like, we'll bring it back. And
very nice.
We come back, and I'm like, man, this light's still not set, so I don't even know if this thing's going to stop me or not. But the clutch was way too hot, and it was just slipping too much. I'm like, it's kind of what it is, but, that's pulling.
Yep, that's pulling, and, I got to say, heck of a pass. You were committed, and we honestly think you need to paint that thing like a fire truck because it clearly doesn't stop for red lights.
That's right.
Well done, Mr. Ike. I think you had Mr. Zering, you had the best distance there at the farm show, and you gave us all something to talk about, all right?
Now, I got to say one thing. I mean, if I knew going ahead of it, I was going to be the first full drive on the No Practice podcast, I'd have stayed in it,
Mike Conny thinks you stayed in it plenty long enough. So,
Hey, congratulations.
Yeah, Mike says congratulations, Ike. So,
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
And, I'm happy to see Mike and everybody at Mac Trailers put on that truck show pool. I think it's an amazing event. And I think what they do, supporting both organizations, is great. And I don't think enough appreciation really goes to those guys.
absolutely. Well said, sir. Well said. Hey,
Thank you,
thanks for your time and thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you guys.
All right.
Yeah,
you have a good one.
thanks, man.
Bye. And there we have it.
Man, I
Mr.
wish there was practice.
Yeah,
Hey,
man,
but
I wish there was practice segment. And we're
A
just
cold-
over the 2-hour mark as well here.
A cold call to a guy who wrecked his shit, and he was gracious enough to shout out the No Practice podcast as
Yeah,
honor
he was-
coming on.
He
And
was
then-
in good
and
spirits.
additionally, the Mac Winter Nationals. So, Mike, we normally try to keep this thing around 2 hours or so. I know Tate's probably tending to the restroom right now, but anything final to add here? This has been a great show. We can't say enough things about the Mac Winter Nationals. Again, tickets are on sale. Go to Ticketmaster. We will post that link to our page afterwards. And you heard what Mike said. To grow this event, we need people in the seats. Every year, the first 2 years have been great, but let's get more people there. Tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell everybody you know to buy a ticket to the Mac Winter Nationals. But anything as a final parting statement from either of you guys, on your debut in the No Practice podcast?
No, just thanks, guys. We enjoyed it. We're all doing the best we can do for pulling and promote the sport from your side to our side, and all the pullers. And let's have a safe next season and safe winter national.
Very well said, Tate. I think the man himself just put it as about as well as we could. Anything you got to add?
Yep, same thing. I appreciate what you guys are doing. Me and Julia watch every time you guys have one, and we laugh and have a good time.
Yeah.
And appreciate what you guys are doing for the sport. And let's keep her rolling.
Yep.
Pull bets. Let's keep going. And appreciate you guys and all the pullers out there that keep coming.
Don't want to extend any longer. Who should our next guest be? Who would you guys recommend as our next guest?
I think you should entertainment value Russell Hildebrand and his wife.
Oh boy,
Russell Hildenbrand.
We've
I
heard
talk to him
that
about
name.
once a week. every
Loose
week,
Cannon, baby.
And there's never a dull moment with him. I think you get a lot of good views on that one.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
We
All
might
right.
reach out to you to facilitate it.
Absolutely.
So very good, guys. Again, No Practice podcast. We will return. Actually, the week of the Mac Winter Nationals will be our next episode, I believe. It's the week before, March 13th. Thanks for all your support. Again, every show continues to grow. Support the Mac Winter Nationals. We're here to promote the greatest motorsport in the world. So that's a good sign off. Everybody, Mike, Tate, appreciate you guys. We always do a parting cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Appreciate
Cheers to
it.
Vinny.
Thank you.
We'll see everybody soon. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
That's a wrap.
Bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the No Practice Podcast.
Have a good one. Bye.
Stay tuned for the next episode, where we guarantee there still won't be any practice.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.